Howdy, and welcome back to the podcast. Today we have Miss Stephanie with the name. Tell me the name of the organization. I'm sorry.
The organization is Courtroom Critters.
Courtroom Critters. And Courtroom Critters is a organization that helps victims and, I guess, individuals with having some support animals around. So we're going to learn all sorts of things about what it is like to have a courtroom critter, and then some benefits maybe, and some stuff we can learn about. So thank you, Stephanie, for coming on today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Of course. So, how did you get started?
Well, it started into therapy dogs. Actually, I'm a retired police officer, and I felt bad for the victims. We didn't give a lot of time and attention to the victims. We had to give all of our due diligence to the perpetrator, and we had to make sure all of their rights were totally and completely handled, and of course, giving them the best respect. But the victims, all we would do is hand them a card with a phone number and say, here, make some phone calls. But that's just not enough. And a lot of victims, they don't know what to do, where to go. And yes, there's a lot of programs today that help victims, and they help them at no charge. But sometimes victims have a difficult time talking. So I had this dog previously, and he's a French bulldog. He's passed away now. But I started incorporating him with the victims to help them talk about what happened, because as a police officer, we need to know what happened. And as the victims started petting the dogs, and then they started telling us all kinds of information and on, and the information was so good that I said, well, this is great. We need to start doing this. And it just so happened that some of the courts in Phoenix, they said, hey, can you bring the dog here? We have some victims that can't talk, and we need them to testify because these are some bad people. And of course, without the testimony, the person's not going to go to jail, or the case is going to get dropped.
Okay. How did you get trained to, or how did you learn that dogs were the way, I guess, that you wanted to move? Like, were you a police officer and then you retired and was like, this is the next thing? Or was it while you were still in the force? What was that transition like, coming into bringing the critters into the courtroom?
Yeah, as a police officer, I started seeing how well this works. And it was just incredible. And then going to court and seeing people who otherwise would not testify. And one of the things that I was very good at was I worked very well in domestic violence. So I knew how to work with the people, and incorporating the dogs in that was kind of the big thing for me. And I saw that these victims who otherwise, and I've been in law enforcement for 24 years, so many victims and survivors just will not talk about it and will not go to court. But seeing them testify and seeing the bad person go to jail, that's kind of what did it for me.
Very nice. And then how did you start with your first, I guess, doggo? What was the training like? And then how did you select a breed? Or was it a breed or a personality?
It's personality. It's mostly personality. My first dog, he was a French bulldog. He was just so chill. He was chunky and quiet. And his name was Blaze, and he's actually on our website. You'll get to see a little bit about him. But then I was given another dog, Hufflepuff. And Hufflepuff is just amazing. He has that face. Everyone says that face. And Hufflepuff, it was just funny because Scarlett just...
Yeah,
Scarlett just went up on the
she was going to come out on camera, but yeah, we have Scarlett, who's our other doggo.
Yeah.
Hufflepuff is also in the studio.
Hufflepuff is the quiet one, and Scarlett is the one. Now, Hufflepuff, he's the one who goes into court with me, so his personality is just perfect because he's so quiet and calm, and he, as you see, he's just kind of hanging out with me. Scarlett, she's a little more loosey-goosey, and she wants to walk around and she wants to see people. So she's visiting everybody. So as we're here in the studio, she's walking around visiting everyone, looking at things, and of course, visiting with Ben. But that's the difference is when they become a courtroom canine, they have to be very calm and quiet. So in other words, Scarlett doesn't qualify.
So where does Scarlett get used?
Well, she does get to work with the police. So if we're doing something where they're just talking about what's going on, or if it's just stress relief or joy, she walks around the office and gives everyone some joy. And She really likes it when the men, the big strong men, kind of squeeze her and rough her up a little bit. That's what she likes.
Very nice.
Hufflepuff likes the girls, so he likes it more calm and the girls to do selfies with him.
I like it. I like it a lot. So then, how do you train an animal to be a courtroom critter or a therapy dog in general?
The training that I like to recommend is the American Kennel Club, the AKC. They have this certification called the Canine Good Citizen. And this is a very, very good base because they want everybody to do this, which I recommend anybody who has a dog. This is such a good training to go through. But it's very basic. The dog does basic things like sit, stay, listens to you. And you can get trained at several different agencies. They'll say, hey, if you want the Canine Good Citizen training, you can get that here. You go, it's usually a 6-week program, 1 day a week. And at the end, you take a test. And if your dog passes, you get this certificate. And the certificate says you passed the training. And you can turn it into AKC and you can get this really nice award for it.
Nice.
But it's a very, very good base. So we recommend all of our dogs have that base. Then you can go through another training for therapy dog training. And of course, you need to do this yourself with your dog. But the training, some people go to a trainer. Some people can do them themselves just by taking the dog out and socializing and being around different things. So the good thing is a lot of the people do all the training themselves, which is good because you need to be one with your dog. You don't send your dog out for the training. And then they go to this agency. The one that we use is called Alliance of Therapy Dogs. This is a third-party agency. So this agency, what they're going to do is they're going to test and evaluate your dog, and they're going to test them and evaluate them on several different occasions so they can see how your dog acts and behaves in several different areas. They could go to Lowe's, they could go to a hospital, they go to different areas where there's a lot of people, and they see how your dog behaves. So that way they say, oh, this dog behaves well, they're friendly, no aggression, so they pass. The good thing about going through the Alliance of Therapy Dogs is when they do pass, then they have a certification and they carry liability insurance. So these 2 dogs here have liability insurance.
Oh, cool. How interesting. Okay. So I know that there's a lot of different jobs that they can do. Like dogs are really kind of cool. Mm-hmm. I like watching the videos on Instagram where the dog is like notifying the owner that the what's it called, that like insulin is low, and it'll be like, hey, like nod, like you should go get this. Like they can do a lot of jobs. And so
Yes.
how do you train? I don't know if you do know, then great. If you don't, then that's okay too. But like, how do you train somebody to like, or an animal to be that specified and good at that job?
There's a lot of training you can go through. We actually have a dog who is a service dog on our team. He's a service dog for his handler, and he can sniff diabetes, and he also works as a therapy dog. So we call these dual purpose dogs. And these are definitely the best of the best dogs because they can do a lot. And to top it all off, this dog is a world champion show dog. So
very nice.
If you want to talk a valuable dog, there you go. But there's a lot of scent work training. So there's so many different types of training that dogs go through. It's kind of like us going to college. You want to go to college to learn about training athletes. That's a whole different type of work. Or if you want to train about nutrition, that's a whole nother different type of coursework. And it's just like the dog. So if you want to do something specific, you go through these specific types of coursework. When we train our dogs to go into the courtroom, that's a whole nother level of coursework that they go through by working in the courtroom, because here the dogs have to be very quiet and very calm. And they have to pass the test to see if they can stay quiet and calm for many hours, because sometimes, court is a little bit long and a little bit boring.
Yeah, a little bit. So, how long have you had Hufflepuff?
Actually, he's my puppy.
Oh, wow.
I have his mom and dad, and of course, I have his grandma. His
Wow.
grandma, Scarlett, is here. She's one of our therapy dogs. So I've had him since before he was born.
Wow, how cool.
And so he's 4,
Wow.
and I actually have some of his siblings.
How cool. I don't know why I assumed that he was older, because I feel like it takes a lot of time for a dog to get certified to go through this whole process by the time they're actually working. But it seems like it can get done within a fairly short amount of time. Like only around 4 years isn't like a short amount of time, but it kind of is at the same time.
Yes, it can happen. Hufflepuff was made for this. He really was. I actually had him certified at a year. You cannot certify until they're a year, but right when he was a year old, he was already done with his training and certified. He just had that perfect demeanor. And when people meet him, they know that he has that perfect demeanor. When we go into the courtroom, I just can't tell you how much the judges love him and like, oh, he's so special. He's welcome. He has that perfect demeanor, so it didn't take me very long to get him trained and certified. Now, Scarlett, on the other hand, because she's a little more personality,
Yeah.
she took a little bit longer. But she wanted to do this kind of work, so she can do the therapy work. We do have people on our team that have rescue dogs. And one lady, she really knew her dog would be good, but it took her 2 years.
Wow.
And her dog is now amazing. So it just depends. But the one thing that the dog cannot be is aggressive. They cannot have any aggressive behavior.
Makes sense.
And they can't be very reactive to other dogs. Yeah, they want to know who the other dog is, but they can't bark. There's a lot of tendencies and types of behavior that we do not want.
It sounds like, so I have a German Shepherd at home, and whenever we go on walks, I'm proud that he doesn't bark at other dogs. It's a nice, like, I hate when I don't know if it's a pet peeve or if I hate it, whatever it is, but whenever you see an individual with the dog that's just like trying to pull back and like the dog's barking, and then, Boomer and I are walking and he's just like, huh, how weird. And he just continues to walk. It makes me like, he's well trained enough that we're not acting out. And so I'm like, well, can I train Boomer to like go through some certifications? Because it could also be fun for him to give him some jobs to do. Dogs like jobs, especially a German Shepherd.
You're right. Dogs need purpose.
Yeah.
And when they have purpose, they're actually happier dogs. They need purpose, and they also need to be a dog. So their playtime is very important, but purpose is something that all dogs want. And having a job, depending what kind of job it is. And, of course, one of our good friends is Deucey, the desert dog mascot.
Very nice.
And we joke around because Deucey can jump up on things and Hufflepuff can barely get up on a couch.
That's fine.
And we talk about how each dog has their purpose. Deucey's purpose is sniffing out bombs. And Hufflepuff's purpose is staying calm and keeping people calm so that they can testify in court. And the other thing is, it doesn't matter what they look like either or where they come from. Some dogs can do this type of work, and some dogs can go and sniff bombs. It doesn't matter what they look like, and that's a nice thing about our therapy dogs is we have dogs. We have a dog that looks like a Malinois. He's actually a long-haired, so he's a Belgian Tavern, and he is just amazing when it comes to the courtroom.
How interesting.
And it would be rare, and we even talk about that Deucey's like, no way could Deucey sit for that long. But the other dog absolutely does beautifully in the courtroom. So it just doesn't matter where they come from. They can come from the pound. There's dogs that have been out on the streets, and they bring them in. They're just lovely, friendly dogs, and they can do the work of a therapy dog.
And you're also helping. I think there's a lot of people that give up their dogs to the pound, or and that's a little unfortunate. But then you get to bring them in, give them a job, and then give them a life. I think that's really kind of cool. I used to have a friend that worked for FEMA, and he had a cadaver dog, and that dog was an insane dog. I mean, just constant, like eyes wide all the time, and that ball that he absolutely loved. You could throw it anywhere, and he was always just like, go, 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 go. But I think that for those environments, that's probably the exact personality you want, right? Almost to the point where he's like, if he gets hurt, you have to like train him to stop, otherwise he won't. Which is cool that there's such an aggressive focus, but at the same time could be potentially dangerous.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, so that's what I like about the difference in dogs and also the difference in people. And such as we have some people that don't want to work in the courtroom. They just want to go to high schools and work with the kids there. We have some people that like working with special needs children and these dogs. They just work magic. Is it okay if I tell you a story?
Yeah, please.
So the magic of these dogs, these are just wonderful stories. So we do go to special needs classes, and one of the ladies, she loves doing it. So she's there all the time, and she has her dog, Zoe, and they're in there working with the special needs children, and all of a sudden, one of the children sits down with her dog, Zoe, and the child starts talking to the dog and pretend reading to the dog. And the teachers are like, wow. And we didn't know, but they said, the child has never spoken in school before. They were nonverbal. And all of a sudden, the child is speaking to the dog. And it's just an amazing story. And that's why I call it magic.
It is kind of like magic. Yeah. My mom's a social worker, and I think I know that that there are individuals on the spectrum that would benefit massively from, because I mean, I've seen it directly, you know, and it is really kind of interesting how it definitely works, and they're good critters. So it's not just courtroom critters. It sounds like you're kind of everywhere.
We are. So there's been a lot of, it's been very tough. There's a lot of obstacles that I've had to overcome. We have a lot of people who aren't for the dogs. So I'm overcoming a lot of obstacles, and very fortunately now I have a team of attorneys who are helping me. And it's not so much that helping me in lawsuits where we need the dogs, but helping me to get around some of the laws. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to help victims these days. There's politics, there's rules, there's regulations, so many things that everyone is worried about. And I try to do everything I can to assure these agencies that, hey, you know what, we've got your back. You know, we're making sure these dogs are trained. We make sure that they're very good dogs, and also we have the liability insurance. You know, what do you want from us?
Yeah.
And so we try to do everything we can to please them, but there's still a lot of obstacles. And they'll come up with, well, you know, the rule says that we can't have therapy dogs in here. It's like, well, so we call it, we're going through the back door to get the dogs in, such as it's one judge at a time. One judge will say, hey, we need this dog, and we do have a lot of paperwork to file, and we get the dog into the courtroom. But it's a lot of work. And it's not fair, especially to the victim or to the child. It's just not fair that they have to go through all this work to have this tool to help them testify.
What's the hesitation of having the dog inside the courtroom?
A lot of people just aren't sold on the benefit, or they're afraid, what if the dog bites somebody? And I understand that.
Yeah.
That's why we're trying to say, well, these dogs go through training. They've been working. We can see where these dogs have been working and what they've been doing. And then we take them into a courtroom and do kind of like a fake trial. But the dogs have to sit quietly and behave and deal with all the stress and the situations going on in the courtroom. And when you see how well they do, then we present this to the judges and say, what do you think? Is this good? And a lot of judges, when they see the dogs in work, they become 100% behind us. But it's one judge at a time and one attorney at a time. So it's tough to sell. That
is tough. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of upfront work just to get. And then I would hope that it is kind of exponential, where like, okay, now you have two judges that are talking about it,
Yes.
and then those two judges talk to their two friends, and they're like, you guys should really try this. And then does the paperwork have to be specific to the individual courtroom that they're in, or is it specific to the judge? How does that work?
Yes, it does. It has to be specific to the case.
Specific to the case.
Yes,
That's a lot of paperwork every single time.
Yes, they have to file a motion to say this child needs this therapy dog. They have bonded with this therapy dog, and this is the only way we're going to get this child to testify. So yes, and then you have to have everybody agree. You have to have the judge agree. You have to have the defense attorney agree, which is, of course, very difficult because what defense attorney wants a cute dog to sway the jury? And then the other good news is we've done so much research that we have a lot of case law already that shows that these therapy dogs, they do get good convictions, and then they file an appeal saying, well, the jury was swayed by the cute bulldog. It's like, no, fortunately, the dogs win every time. So that's the good news about it. But people think that it does sway the jury. But also, we talk to judges, and if the judge does give good instructions to the jury, then that causes things to go well. And then the appeal would be much difficult because the judge did a very good job with the jury. So that's part of this thing that we're trying to also make sure that the education is there, and to say, if we do it this way and we do it that way and we do everything proper, then that way the conviction's going to be good.
I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but if I was a jury, if I was serving on a jury and I saw that dog, then I'd probably stare at that dog quite a bit. And so, like, at what point is it distracting for the jury? Like, how do you teach a jury not to pay attention?
We try to hide the dog.
Okay.
So the dog's going to be in the witness box with the witness or the victim, but we try to hide them inside the box.
Okay.
So hopefully, the dog does not be seen, is not seen by the jury. That's what we try. We try to make sure they're invisible. We also try to make sure they're really quiet from all their little dangles on their equipment, all that type of stuff. We might have to tape it down so you can't even hear the dog coming in.
Okay.
So quiet, calm, and then the dog settled in the jury stand. Most of the time, the jury's not going to see them, and that's our plan. But sometimes you do. But again, if the judge is really good about, do not pay attention to the dog, pay attention to what's going on, do your job, make sure this is a good conviction. Generally, it works very well.
Okay. How does an individual request, or do they request, to have a canine with them, or is it who initiates that conversation? Like, how do they get a canine with them?
We work with a lot of agencies now. We work with the Resiliency and Justice Center. We work with some family centers, therapists. What they do is they know us, they've met with us, and a lot of agencies, we have a memorandum of understanding. And that way they say, hey, if we find somebody who could be of use of these dogs, then they refer them. So these agencies refer them to Courtroom Critters, or they may even call us directly and say, hey, we need a dog for this. We do our best to pair that person up with a dog. And the best thing is there is no charge for this. We do not charge anyone. We are a nonprofit. We are all volunteers, so nobody pays for this.
It's wild. How do you guys maintain funding, if I can ask that?
Basically, our funding is coming from businesses to donate. They donate money to us. We try to get grants. We haven't gotten one yet, but we're working on it. But individuals will donate money to us. We do small fundraisers. So right now, the money is handling our training.
Okay.
But that's about it. But we're hoping to do some more fundraisers to get a little bit more. But we want to be able to provide this training for free. So when we do the courtroom training, our members in good standing, they do not pay us anything, as well as we do not pay the speakers to come in. So the speakers, the judges, the prosecutors who did come in to speak at our training, they charged us nothing. They did it all on their own time.
Oh, wow. That's pretty nice. That's pretty amazing. Those are some good relationships.
Yeah, you can tell that it's this therapy dog is coming. It's going to be one of these days. It is going to be a law in Nevada that my thought is I want it to be that no victim shall be denied the use of a therapy dog, and of course a certified therapy dog.
Of course, right? Because some people definitely just buy the vest and then have them like, no, they're certified, and then you can't ask, and so,
Right.
But like actually going through the training and actually doing the job. So who is snoring right now? I have to ask. Is that Scarlett or is that Hufflepuff?
It's Hufflepuff, but that's because he has a harness on and he's laying kind of awkward. You know how it is if you're kind of laying the wrong way.
It can kind of mess
Yeah.
up the throat a little bit. I was just wondering, like, okay, I assumed it was Scarlett because that was going to be a little bit louder, and so then I would imagine, like, is that like, does it happen in court?
It can, yes.
That can be something.
Yeah, and we every once in a while we do get the laughs, but it's just a thing. But hopefully sometimes the when the people are talking, it overdoes the snoring.
So then, where do people do donate, or do you have any fundraisers coming up? Like, what is the plans, I guess, for the rest of the year, or even next year? I know we're in the middle of the year, but for the rest of the year or for next?
Well, we're working on some businesses, some local businesses, to donate some money, and we also, when they do sponsor us, we do put them up on our website, of course, to let people know who they are and what they do, and links to their own business. But our website, we do have a donate page. And it's very simple. We have this really cool app that is called Zeffy.
Okay. How do you spell that?
It's Zeffy.
Okay.
Zeffy. And what's really cool about it is they cater to nonprofits. So they don't charge us a fee.
Oh, wow.
So in other words, if you donate $10 to us, we get all $10.
Wow.
But Zeffy does ask, hey, would you like to make a donation to them? Give them $1 or $2.
Yeah.
But the good thing is you're not charged $5 to make a $10 donation, and we are not charged a fee. So that's worked out really nice for us because the credit card fees are crazy. And
Yeah, they are.
when we're working with right now every dollar, we can't afford that. So we're very thankful for Zeffy. So it's easy, very easy to make donations right on our website, and it goes right to our bank account. And we do have some fundraisers coming up, but they're still kind of in the making.
Okay. Very nice. Okay. Well, let us know, and then we can add some links and we can do some stuff to the description. So I had another question. How'd you meet Max?
Oh, gosh. Okay. So there is this bulldog named Reba
Okay.
who was left in a container. Very, very tragic situation. And he being kind of on the animal advocate side, we were trying to advocate for better penalties for people who commit animal abuse.
That sounds fair.
So he and I were both advocating for that as individuals, because
Yeah.
Courtroom Critters does not lobby or advocate. But I, as an individual, was advocating for people to these animal abuse crimes. They only get like a slap on the hand or a few days in jail. That's all they get. And so now we have the Reba's law, but we were at one of these meetings, and we just happened to meet quickly, but then we started connecting on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn has been a very good connection process for me, and we started talking, and then I showed him, the bill and everything, and we all started talking, and then he kind of, in a sense, fell in love with the Courtroom Critters mission.
Yeah.
Which is
very
really cool because he has already added so much. And then he brought in another attorney whom I wanted because he was more, well, our dog's really a good idea. So he was kind of a devil's advocate. And he did some research, and now he's for the therapy dogs. So we swayed him, but we have a great team now. It's amazing. And one of the things to success is surrounding yourself with a great team. And you just can't do it by yourself. And I was complaining, it's like, I'm doing everything. And he comes in, I can help you with that. And let's redo this, and let's fix your bylaws. And so we've made some amazing changes, and it's been so easy with Max. And Max is coming up with all these ideas.
I like it. We're going to have Max on in the future. And so
yeah.
I mean, we've been talking about it for a while. So we met through the MBA program, and it seems like he's definitely like out in the community doing a lot of things. And so it's kind of cool to hear that a classmate or a colleague at this is out there really doing some effective stuff, like some actual things. I think in school they teach you a lot of theoretical stuff, and then some people will take that and go out and actually do something with it.
Yes.
And some people don't, and he's doing it, and so it's really kind of cool to hear. I like Max. I think he's good people.
He is, and he is doing a lot of amazing things. And the cool thing is he's total pro bono for us. He joined our board. Wow. And so he is now our general counsel. And needless to say, he doesn't want any money for his work for Courtroom Critters. So he's amazing. And the information he's brought in and the other people that he's brought in to us is just great. So his connections are great. So our connections together, we are building something big. And he's really excited about it. But I'm so excited to have him. But I don't want to forget all the other people. We have some amazing people on our board that are helping us with things. And so that's part of the success, though, is having very good people around you in your circle.
You need good people.
You need it.
Them.
It's like you cannot do it all your own. And also, some people get threatened by people that are smarter than them. And that's not how it works. If you want to bring in people smarter than you want to bring in people that have different backgrounds, all kinds of different backgrounds from different areas. And that's what makes your company stronger. So part of the success is bringing in people that are smarter than you.
Yeah, because running a nonprofit on its own, like just the business side of that is a lot. Like you have we have more reporting than a traditional company. You're very public, and it's just it's difficult. It's not necessarily easy. And so if you don't have a team, then I would imagine very easy to just crash. Like it's so easy because there's so much going on all the time. And then you also have to do all the extras. If you're alone, it makes it really, really hard.
Yeah, and I was just crashing. It's just so funny how life works sometimes. I was crashing with the business. It was hard. It was so much work. And then the taxes. I never thought taxes could be so hard as they are with a nonprofit.
They're crazy.
Crazy hard. Yeah. And then comes Max. I mean, he's. I don't want him to think he's a savior or anything, but he really came at the right time.
Very nice.
He really did. And I'm so thankful for him and all the other people that he's brought me. He's brought me some really good people. But he did come at the right time. And I thought, it's like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do all this? I'm going to fail. And sometimes you do kind of hit that crash. And you might have to take a couple weeks to sit back and, you know what? I'm going to sit back. I'm just going to take a little bit of time to take a breather. And then something will happen. But don't give up. That's the thing. If you really think this is good, don't give up. And that's so important. Yeah, you might crash. You might crash a few times. But don't give up. If you really think this is something good, if you think this is a great idea, don't give up. And so many people tell me that all the time. It's such a good thing having these dogs. But all kinds of businesses and companies, I'm sure a lot of people are like, oh, that's not going to work, and you have all the obstacles. But if that's what you want to do, then keep it up. But if you need to take a week or two off, take that off and relax a little bit and then start pushing again. and see where you get and who comes into your life.
I think that recovery time makes a big difference in exercise science. And when we're working with individuals, like I have a client right now, he's been training for he will next Sunday will be his first, not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday will be his first day off from working out. And so instead of us working out on Thursday, I was like, you have to take a break, because otherwise you're gonna get gas, you're gonna get burnt out, and you're not gonna want to do this anymore. And I think it's very similar in the business as well. If you're not taking care of yourself and making sure you're having the recovery, the right food, the right water intake, I drink caffeine, the right amount of caffeine, all those little things that really do make a difference, good sleep, then it's gonna be your runway is gonna be much shorter. So you got to take care of all of those little things. Yeah.
And physical athlete or someone who's running a business, it's important to stay fit and to keep your mind fit. And good nutrition is very important. It's going to be kind of a plug, but
do it.
I've been using K-Bear Foodie.
Okay.
K-Bear.
Is that here local?
No. She's out of Tennessee right now, but she comes up with these smoothies.
Okay.
And she's very much into organic.
Okay.
So she puts together these smoothies, and she's kind of lecturing me, you need to do this, you need to try that, and organic, and talking about all the food colorings in food. So she is all about natural food and anti-processed.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how bad processed food is for you, but so she's been talking about, hey, you need to do this and do that. Eating a better diet is going to make you feel better, and it's going to make your brain function better. And it's true. It totally is true. I know it's hard because I am a total ice cream person. So it's tough sometimes, but it is true that if you eat good food or the organic, and it's just overwhelming, the chemicals that they're putting on food.
Yeah. They're made to be addictive. They really are. Right? I like the general rule of thumb is just stay on the outside of the supermarket or your grocery store. Right? Stay on the outside. Fruits, veggies, whole food like meats, your proteins, stuff like that. That's great. I have to admit, inside that smoothie right there, I do have a little bit of tofu in there, which I am not. I've never really been a big fan of tofu. I know it's obviously very ultra processed. But it's silken tofu inside of a protein shake. Oddly good because it has a really cool texture. So if you are vegan, that's a really cool option. But I'm not vegan. I just happen to like the silken tofu inside of a protein shake. But there's a lot of additives. There's a lot of unhealthy stuff. And so, making sure you're taking care of your brain. Taking the supplements. I mean, I take like omega-3s and omega-6s every morning. Your vitamin Ds. Like it really does make a big difference.
And same thing with the dogs. Our dogs are fed very expensive food.
What are they fed?
Well, we use Royal Canin.
That's what we use.
And the reason I use that is because their process is different. People say, well, it's still processed, yes, but it's processed different. And the ingredients are based on breed, which is very important because every dog is not built the same. Bulldogs are built very different than a Malinois.
Yeah.
Because they're short and fat, and Malinois are high energy. So I like it because it's breed specific, and it has everything that they need. And in fact, my vet said you don't even need the additives with those. But of course, our dogs like a little bit of canned food, for flavor because they're spoiled. But we add little things like coconut oil. I do add some chondroitin and glucosamine because I do want to take extra care of their joints. So yeah, it's all about feed. And I tell people, they're like, aren't they high in vet bills? Well, if you take good care of them, it's called preventive maintenance. You feed them well, feed them a good diet. And it's the same thing with the human. You feed them a good diet and you're not going to have the problems with the doctor. And we don't have the problems. Yeah, they might snore a little bit, but it's kind of
I snore too.
But, it happens. But all in all, our dogs are very healthy.
Very cool. Do you get them? How regularly do you guys get them tested by vets or checked up on? What is the ideal situation there?
Well, mostly once a year. So even for the therapy dog work, they require a 1-year annual exam. And the exam goes through, just to make sure that the dog is still fit for doing therapy work. And the dog doesn't have to be able to walk either. In therapy work, they can be in a chair. They can be in a stroller.
Wow.
So as long as the dog is nice, we have 3-legged dogs, dogs in wheelchairs. But the vet just checks them to make sure that they're doing fine and also to make sure they have the proper vaccines. So once a year, they do a check and we send that into the Alliance of Therapy Dogs. We do have to send it in and to assure them that every year the dog has everything that they need. And we continue with the certification.
Nice. So let's say I go get these certifications myself. And then all of a sudden I'm like, man, I think my dog would be a great fit. Like, we're certified, we've done all these things. Now, do I just reach out to you and say, I really want to have my boyo? They can like really pull that thing. Yeah, it'll be good. And so do I just like message you guys and like, hey, I think my dog would be a good fit. They were certified in these things. Where can I be put on a list or what? How does that work?
It's pretty easy to join our group. We generally we meet your dog. We want to make sure that you're a good fit. Every once in a while we do have somebody that's not a good fit. It does happen. Yeah. But also we are assuring the agencies that we work for that you are a good fit. When you go into the police departments, we don't want to bring in people that have like nasty records or situations. So we do look at that. And yeah, every once in a while we do have to get rid of somebody, but that's just the way it goes. But we're dealing with some very crucial agencies. We're dealing with domestic violence shelters. We're dealing with legal services. We're dealing with therapists and police departments. So we kind of brag that we have the best of the best. So our members truly are, in my opinion, the best of the best.
Very nice. And you said you were like the first conversation outside of the state were in Arizona. Are you guys in other places?
Well, we can travel.
Okay.
Some of us can travel. In fact, we are starting to travel up into the Reno, Carson City area. Okay. We are going to do a seminar up there to try to recruit some more therapy dogs because they're very weak with therapy dogs. They don't have enough. And the state police up there are asking us, hey, we need some therapy dogs. Would you guys travel? It's like, well, yeah, we'll travel. But it's a long drive. Yeah. And airlines, they're getting there, but not quite there yet to travel with your dog. But we have a lot of members that are going to go up to Reno and Carson City and help them out. And there's a lot of areas in North Nevada, but Phoenix, they've been getting some good therapy dogs there, so their area is opening up in therapy dogs. But we do want to increase our travel, but most of all, we want to try to get some more therapy dogs, and thus we have to do some training and seminars to help people and to teach people how to do it.
Ideally, what is the total number of therapy dogs that you have?
I need at least 100.
Okay.
I need a lot more because we're busy. And like you said, it's kind of a domino effect. One judge likes you, then the other judge is like, wow, this is great. And then another one. Schools, the Clark County School District, before it was no dogs. But then they have crisis happen. Unfortunately, they have suicides. And the counselors say, let's bring in the therapy dogs. We bring in the therapy dogs. And the principal who was like, no, we don't need dogs. The counselors say, let's just have it for this crisis. They bring in the dogs, and the principal is 100% sold and says, you guys can come in anytime you want. And then another school wants us, and then another school. So during the school year, we're probably visiting 2 schools a week.
Damn.
And especially during finals. Everybody wants us during finals, and UNLV. We've been working with them a lot, and they bring us in, and it's kind of fun. It's fun to see how people come in. Oh, you made my day, or I was having a bad day, and I have these finals to take, and I'm so stressed out, and they feel better just petting a dog.
It's pretty amazing. I mean, I feel better when I petted my dog, I
Hmm.
just give him some love. And though he can, he loves his toy and that can be upsetting sometimes, but that's just a good note. Like, hey, we got to go for a walk or we got to move because he is, again, a German
Hmm.
Shepherd. He needs space. We used to have 250 acres that we were just, he used to like fight with, um, just the cows that were on the property, and he would just go and like just we had a couple lakes on the property, and so he'd go swim in the lake and he'd come back, and like he had more room versus here in Vegas. There's not really that kind of land, and so
Hmm.
it's a little bit harder. But it would be nice to get him to just move, and I feel like getting him to move, he looks happier, and that
Hmm.
makes me feel happy. Could you do a therapy cat? Is that a thing?
There are therapy cats.
How cool!
Yes, there are. And there's a therapy rabbit, and there's therapy bearded dragons.
How interesting.
Yes. So our agency, Alliance of Therapy Dogs, which is a third party agency, they only deal with dogs. But there's another agency called Love on a Leash,
Okay.
and they do deal with cats and rabbits and all kinds of critters. So yes, it is a thing. I'm not sure the courts are going to be into that.
Fair.
So we're going to stick to the dogs with the
Yeah.
courts. But yes,
Huh.
cats can be. And in fact, I've met a couple cats that would be awesome. And I told her, I said, you've got to use that cat as a therapy cat.
I feel like a cat would be a good, just because, I mean, not all of them, don't get me
No,
wrong, but
yeah.
some of them are they can just be calm. Like, they just sit there and just hang out. And that alone, like, is oddly
Mhm.
calming. We have 5 cats. And so there are definitely some of those cats that would be a terrible option. And then you have like 1 or 2 of those cats that would probably be a good option. So, it just kind of depends on on
Mhm.
the
Oh, yeah.
animal.
Some cats are kind of crazy.
Some of them are just, they're just, they got a lot of personality, as we like to say.
Yes.
They have a lot of personality. So what's to come next, I guess, for you guys? Where can people find you one more time? And then, yeah, let's go from there.
Our website is courtroomcritters.org. And we're really pushing this courtroom canine training. We are working on making this a national accreditation that they can use our agency to train their dogs. We have a pretty good training program. Of course, there's several tiers. It's kind of like a college degree. You have prerequisites that you have to go through. You have experience you have to go through. But then getting that courtroom canine degree, that's kind of like a doctorate degree, I consider it. And the nice thing about it is when they do get that courtroom canine degree, they have that for life. They do not need to recertify. They just have to keep their therapy dog status up and in good standing. People don't want to have to keep certifying, but if their therapy status is perfect, then they can continue serving in court. So we want to make this a national accreditation. We are working on that right now, and we are going to grow into northern Nevada, but I'm looking at us being a national agency, and I want to go out and help people train and help them create this agency in their area or their city. And so I'm happy to travel. I'm happy to teach people. And of course, we want to continue to offer this training at no charge. So as long as we keep getting sponsors, we can keep offering the service at no charge. So in other words, if other agencies in other cities want to develop a program just like ours, we want to help them do this.
Very nice. I like it a lot. I have one last question because it just came to my mind, and then we'll call it. What do the doggos do for you? How did this start for you?
Well, I'm very fortunate. I get to go home to these every day. So no matter what kind of mood I'm in, I go home and these dogs are all over me. And it's like, we're happy you're home. And I love being at home because I get to be with all my dogs. And I have a lot.
How many dogs do you have?
We have 8.
Oh, wow.
Because we used to breed bulldogs.
Okay.
And I have grandma, and I have the mom, I have the dad, I have siblings, I have uncle. So, I get to go home to these guys, and it's cool because I always have this emotional therapy because I go home no matter what kind of day. They're there. They're there to be with me. They're not judging me. And when I don't feel well, they even are calm. It's like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and be quiet because you don't feel well. And it's just so nice. And then we go hang out in the pool. So it's, I do kind of live the dream of living with these dogs and having a nice home. So I'm very fortunate.
You grew up with dogs?
I grew up with cats.
Huh.
I have been a cat person, and my daughter is going to be laughing because I was such a cat person.
Really?
And I have totally gone to the dogs.
No cats at all in the house?
Not now. When we lost my last cat, my husband is allergic, so we just haven't gotten another one. Yeah. But I do miss kitties, so whenever somebody has a kitty, and I like to pet them and hear them purr, but I have totally gone to the dogs. And yeah, my daughter, she likes to make fun of me that, how you went from cat to dog like in an instant.
So young Stephanie, do you remember, like, let's say 5, 6, 7, 8 years, like those early years, do you remember finding peace with the animals even at that age?
Yes. And they slept with me. The cats would sleep with me. So yes. And then later in life, I got into horses. So I was a very experienced horse trainer, very accomplished. And part of the time I was a mounted police officer in my career.
Very cool.
So when I started training dogs, it was so easy. And dogs are so easy to take around too than a horse. You don't have to load them into a trailer. Just kind of, well, my dogs kind of have to hoist them into the car because they can't jump into the car themselves. Yeah.
Oh, cool. How wild. I did dressage for a short period of time.
You did?
Yeah, and I really enjoyed it. It was a good time. Yeah.
You just do not look like a dressage person.
Yeah, hey, you never know. Don't judge a book by its cover, you know, right?
You don't know.
Yeah, I don't look like a guy that would like cats, but we have 5. Working on a 6 apparently because we have one that's like losing an eyeball that they're gonna annihilate, and then maybe we'll take that cat. So yeah, but I like horses. I think that they're very large, crazy animals. Just because they're like, it's just such a powerful animal, but also very intuitive. It's a very interesting animal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, therapy horses are a thing too.
Yes, it's very big now with first responders that they have these therapy horses, and they do an amazing job. So that's another point that right here in Vegas they have that.
They have another thing here in Vegas for that as well.
Yes, they do. Yep.
Huh. How wild!
Have therapy horses.
I didn't know that. That's cool. Sounds like there's a lot of resources here in town. There
really are. Las Vegas, that's what's so crazy about some of the courts not accepting the dogs is we do have a lot of resources, but it can get overwhelming for people, especially victims. So it really helps to have somebody hold their hand through things and to say, here, let me help you do this. And did you know that you can have a dog in court? And when people find that out, they're like, oh, I need that. And so, there's a lot of learning. There's a big learning curve here. But it's okay if it's slow because I need to get more dogs. So if anybody's interested in having their dog become a therapy dog, we need you. Yeah. We do need you.
Hey, I might be interested.
I need your cats.
Yeah, my cats or my dogs. Hey, we have a dachshund and then the German Shepherd.
You have a dachshund?
Yeah. There's a lot of animals in the house. I had another question that you said. Sorry, I know I said we were going to stop, but you said something that do you guys work with any social workers?
Yes, we do a lot.
I would imagine that's because those are usually the individuals that are the resource.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So is that who you guys normally go through?
Oh, there's so many. Yeah. It's for me to list them all. There's so many social workers we go through. There's probably, 20 off the top of my head that I can think of that we work with. And then there's hospitals too. I just had another hospital, Boulder City, just called me and said, hey, we need some therapy dogs. So yeah, and like I said, it's growing. One person uses us and another person uses us and they're like, hey, did you hear about this? So it is, we do get busy. And then another fun thing is we just went to the airport. So, and did some work there with the TSA. Bring them a little bit of calmness.
Yeah, that's a hectic job. That's a hard job.
Yeah. But the travelers, as we were walking through the airport, Whenever we walk through somewhere, it takes us at least a half hour because everybody wants to say hi to the dogs and do selfies.
Yeah, you got it.
So, but that's what we're there for. So it's okay.
I like it. All right. I think that's any questions for me.
No, not
Cool.
at all.
Great. I think we're done. Beautiful. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
It was fun.
And then we'll add all the stuff inside the description so we can, do that for links and stuff like that. If anybody wants to donate, they can find your website through the description on the podcast. And then, that's all I got. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Do we get good pictures of the dogs?
I got a video of the dogs. We can I can send those over to Miss Kyla, maybe if she will be so kind to add them in. If not, that's okay too. But yeah, they're in there. And so you can also, if you send me some pictures, maybe we can edit those in. And if I need to edit those in, Kyla, I can. Either way. So.
Is she watching the whole thing?
Who? Yeah, she's back there. Yeah. She's back there. All right. Thank you.
Does it sound
appreciate
good?
it. Yep. Love y'all. Thank you. Bye.